Good evening, everyone. I'm Cambria Caldwell. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have with me my co host.
Hi, my name is Jamel Brownridge. I'm a certified life coach, aka Coach J.
Yes, and we are here for another episode of Self Love is the Key Wellness Incorporated. We are
Correct.
established as a nonprofit organization here to provide guidance and mentorship to you in our community. All right. So today we thought we would touch on a topic that is controversial for some, not for others.
Yes.
And the question is, why is homophobia so rampant in the Black community? I thought this would be a really good question for Coach Jay to kick things off and really get into it. Like, what are the issues really for Black folks?
Um. So I think that the issue, honestly, it really stems from the Bible, and just how, like, back in the day, it was taught that some that we would not be, you know,
Want to get into heaven?
we wouldn't get into heaven basically because of the process of us being gay or bisexual or
Mhm.
any of those things.
Mhm.
I think that as time has progressed, of course, like people like our grandmas and great grandmas were taught this, and so I think that they just simply started to teach their children, and kids started to believe that, okay, well, that's true because my grandma and my mom would not lie to me, but as time goes on, more and more people are coming out as being, gay or bisexual or a lesbian or a
Right. So
trans.
are you saying that Black people you know, as gay, they have always been this way, or they weren't until more recently, like the 80s, 90s?
No, I think people always have been gay. Like I think that I don't feel like people grow up one day and say, "Oh, I just want to be gay today." Like I think it's something that you're born with. I don't think it's a condition. I don't think that you can pray the gay away. I don't think that you can be sent away for someone to beat the gay out of you. There's a lot of different things that I've heard that people have gone through. When it comes to them being gay, but I don't think that it's something that you can pray away or try to figure out like different avenues to take to get someone not to be gay. I think that it's just who you are. I think that in the 1800s, there were people that were gay, but of course, because it was frowned upon, I think that it was just something that no one ever knew, or they do it behind closed doors, or it's on the low. Um, Even like me watching this movie on Netflix, back during the times of like Martin Luther King's uh, Million Man March time, and the guy that was behind setting it up, he was like a gay male, and then there was another gentleman that was a pastor, but the pastor was married to a woman and everything like that, but he was trying to tell the guy that was openly gay, like basically he couldn't be out in the open with him, he couldn't hold his hand, he couldn't tell him he loves him, he can't take him out on dates, he can't do the things that our normal relationship would do, but he wanted to be sexually involved with him because that's who he was on the inside. That's who completed him, you know. And I feel like even just doing that, that alone brings so much trauma later on to people because not understanding why couldn't I have been myself then, you know. If you're
That
not
still,
interested
that
in
still
being,
happens. That still happens today, right?
yes,
Call the down low, the DL. You have Black men who feel like they need to hide their sexuality because they don't want to be seen as less than. They don't want to be seen as weak.
but I think that like that comes from like just honestly the black community and honestly just it being ignorant, like I do think that sometimes as black people we can be very ignorant because we don't want to learn something new or be open to hearing something new. We only want to know and go off what we were taught. And
Right. Okay. But going back to what we were saying earlier, though, like I think it's even deeper than that. Like not wanting
mhm,
to learn something new. Like you were saying, there's been gay folks since the beginning of time, probably since
Yes.
the beginning of humanity.
Yes.
The issue is Black people do not want to be seen in any kind of negative light. That's what I think it comes back to, right? So
But
like,
but why is being gay negative?
I know, right?
That
I was gonna ask you that question.
oh yeah, yeah,
So
like
why is being gay negative? I think that it goes back to Black people are very prideful, right?
yes.
We're very prideful, and we come from a lot. We come from struggle. We come from slavery,
Yes.
right? During
Yes.
slavery days, it was not good as a Black man to be seen as weak, because if you were seen as weak, you're going to be taken advantage of, and you will probably die. Most likely, you
Yes.
will die,
But
right?
being gay doesn't associate with being weak.
It does not. But for some reason in the Black community, I don't know why, but there's an assumption that to be gay as a male is to be weak as a male, right? And that feeds into the topic I want to bring up about toxic masculinity in the Black community,
Hmm.
right? Because there's this idea that anything that could be seen as soft is frowned upon for a Black male. So that could be just showing your feelings to someone, crying, um, showing emotional intelligence, listening to someone, showing that you care about how someone else feels besides your own. That could
But
be seen as weakness.
all those things just show that you are a mature adult. In all honesty, like
Yes.
you are in touch with your feelings. You know exactly how you feel. You know how to express yourself. You know how to tell someone exactly what you're feeling in the moments, and not feel as if like I have to be this hard exterior where I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to hear anything you're telling me. You know what I'm saying? And kind of shut your feelings down because your feelings don't make any sense to me. It's like, no, like we have to be able to have a dialogue. We have to be able to have a conversation, especially in a relationship, whether you're with a man and a woman, whether it's a man and a man, a woman and a man, whomever, you still have to be able to have a conversation and a dialogue. So being black and being gay does not necessarily mean that, oh, I'm a weak individual or I'm someone that's going to get pushed over. It just simply means that that's my preference in the bedroom. And my
Mhm.
preference in the bedroom does not identify me. It does not dictate who I am. It does not tell people like, oh well, since he's gay, then he doesn't do the manly things in life. Like he doesn't change oil in your car. He doesn't fix a flat tire. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't do those things because that's not what a gay man does. A gay man, they go and get their nails done and they do the feminine side of things.
And
And
that's not always true. There
that's
are
not true.
stereotypes within the gay community about gay people
Yes. Yes.
that needs to be addressed. Right? That's a whole nother thing, a whole nother can
Yes.
of worms.
Yes, I think that when it just, I think what's so crazy. I think is like personally being a black gay man. I think that for a very long time, I think the stereotype that I've always saw was like simple something so simple as like, oh, I only want a masculine man. Like, and never understood like what does a masculine man, what can a masculine man can't do, or what can they do better than a feminine man? Like, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? It's just their preference and what they like. It doesn't mean that they're any less stronger. It doesn't mean that they're any less um, they don't worthy up to you, or they're not worthy enough, or it doesn't mean any of that. But I think that whole masculinity and femininity thing, I think it really should go away, because at the end of the day, we all are men who like other men. That's basically what it is,
Mhm.
regardless of anything.
Yeah, it's very true. So it plays into a lot of stereotypes that I think, and even not just Black folks, that all people have. They make these assumptions about person and go. It talks it's gender roles too, like gender roles.
Yes, and I think that that's where even like the masculinity and femininity comes in. It's like, oh, I want someone to be masculine, but in that masculine role, that means that they're supposed to take out the trash and put gas in my car and go get my car washed, go get my car fixed, and things like that. Oh, and because I'm the feminine person, then I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to take care of the household and things of sort. To me, I just feel like we live in a house together. We have to take care of each other. We're choosing to be in a relationship with one another, so we have to take care of one another. So if
Well,
that
I
means
think
that,
that can be said no matter what kind of is gay or straight, because you should.
yes,
The same
yes,
thing can be said. So what? Let's say you're a woman and you are the breadwinner, right? Let's say you make more money than the man does.
yes,
It doesn't mean that you might not want to still have some gender roles, right? You may still want him to fill up, your gas tank. You may
hmm
still want him to take out the trash. You may still want him to do those manly things, mow the lawn, mount the TV, mount you, you know, right?
yes,
Just because you make money, more money than him doesn't mean that you don't want us to be treated like a female or a woman, and that
yes.
and doesn't mean he doesn't still want to be treated like a man, like want his wife to make dinner or to you know do laundry or give him a massage or whatever the case is.
Just take care
However,
of the
it's like,
household.
how about you both take care of each other
And
and
that's really, I believe that's really what a relationship is. It's taking
exactly.
care of one another. It's not, oh, this is my job in a relationship. My job is not to take out the trash. My job is not to keep the house clean. My job is to make sure that you're happy and that there's nothing that you're needing, and vice versa. Like that's it's a relationship. We're choosing to be together. So as long as we're choosing to be together, then we have to be able to understand that it shouldn't really be a gender role, whether it's in the relationship of any sort, whether it's a man and a man or a woman and a woman or a man and a woman. It should just be making sure that the relationship is
That it
taken
works
care
for
of, that it
him,
works for you. You're right, exactly.
for those
Right.
people who actually in the relationship. It should be it's based on
Whatever best works
how
for you.
you created.
Yes. But I do think that that's where that comes from, though. I do think that, like, just the black community and the Bible is where
Yeah.
those stereotypes come from.
Yeah, the Bibles, which was also indoctrinated onto us by slavery, and in slavery there is a hierarchy. There's a master, there's a slave, there's the head of the household, and everyone comes behind the head of the
hmm
household.
hmm
And so it sounds like some of these views that we have stems from that. Mhm. I mean, we're in an age where people can start to question gender roles, gender expression,
hmm
sexuality, sexual expression.
I think that life has really come a long way just from thinking of, like, you know, for example, like, the 1930s, for example, and how it was something that you could not be gay and openly gay at that and be able to be accepted, where we are today, and people are, having their own pronouns, however they feel like whoever they are, that's who they're telling people that they are. People even being able to, transition and be comfortable with who they and identify who they feel like they are on the inside, opposed to how they're just looking on the outside. So I think that life has really come a long way in this process of, like, from where it started to where we are today. And I think that it's going to continuously evolve.
Okay, so I have another question, a hard question, right?
Oh,
Let's
snaps.
say, let's say you have a client
hmm
who hesitates to talk to their family about their sexuality.
hmm
Right? What are some things that you would want them to know if they're going into this knowing that they may or may not be accepted by their family? Like, what can they do for themselves
If they're not going to be accepted,
if they're afraid? What if they're afraid and they don't know if they're going to be accepted or not? How can they prepare themselves?
I mean, I think that, of course, having a community is very important. I think that that's very important, whether you do have acceptance from your family or you don't, especially if you don't. I think that, of
Like
course,
a chosen family, creating
a
your own.
chosen family, yes, like, so, like, whoever your best friends, your friends, your cousins, aunts, that accepts you for who you are. I think that making sure that you do have that support system is very important before you maybe do have that conversation, just to where that you do have someone to fall back on, to where that emotionally you're not having to deal with that guilt and that pain alone. Because someone may feel guilty from just telling someone who they are and how they feel about the opposite sex or the same sex. So you just want to make sure you have that support system. That's really really mainly important. um, so building a support system. um, of course, like, if you're afraid of you know going to groups and things of that sort, but that's another good way, is like groups and sort. But if you're afraid of that, maybe one-on-one therapy with someone could also help. um, um,
So talking to someone about your experiences,
mhm.
in other words, not keeping it to yourself, but finding
Yes.
someone that you can feel safe with to talk about
Yes.
your journey to help you
Yes.
with that transition.
Because it will be
Yeah.
a transition from who you were to who you're, because now you're trying to become you're trying to figure out who you are. And I think that at some point in time in life that we have to go through that change, and we're not the little kids anymore. We're finding out who we are, who we like, what we like, how we like certain things done. So it's a transition. So I would say those are the main two key points in, um, when you're about to start this journey of coming out to your family, is making sure you have a support system.
Okay,
And
I have another question too. I have another question for you.
okay.
Okay. So what would you advise the family to do to show that they support their family member who is coming out? Because you've been blessed, right? You've been
Hmm.
blessed, as you were
Hmm.
saying before. You were born into a family who was accepting of you.
Hmm.
What did they do that made you feel supported?
I think that, like, for example, like, my mom, she continued to love on me. She didn't treat me any differently. My siblings did not treat me any differently. My friends did not treat me any differently. I was able just to tell them who I was. I mean,
Hey, everyone
everyone's
is
different.
different, just like
Exactly.
every person is different.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's why I said, of course, educate yourself. That's the main thing that a family can do when trying to support their loved one. Is like just definitely educating yourself to where you're not disrespecting them or disrespecting who they're trying to become.
Right, because when you say educate, I'm like, okay, how? How educate? So educate as far as learn the pronouns, for example, right?
Yes.
And
Learn the
then
pronouns.
do your best to use the pronouns with your loved one, right?
Yes.
If your loved one decides to change their name, right, to go ahead and use that chosen name that your loved one has chosen for themselves.
Yes.
That's the way to show respect to this person who is honest enough with you to tell you that they are transitioning and they want to be referred to as a different pronoun or different name.
Or even if they're not, they're just wanting to be named or called something else opposed to the given name that they was giving at birth. Some people,
That's what I
they're
just said.
they're gay, and they may not be transitioning, but they just don't want to be called by their actual name anymore. They want to be
Yes,
called a
yes.
different name. Doesn't mean that, so still, you know respect them in that process as well. So that's something else to, like, also, keep an eye out for sure as well.
Yeah, you can change your name. I could change my name. I could decide I want to be a different name tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just means I would like people to accept that and show me some
Yes.
respect in that regard.
And it's also being just showing respect to that person, showing that person that you respect them, you love them, you respect their journey. You know, doesn't you're not hoping anything bad or ill will towards them or anything like that. You're just really wanting to be there every step of the way, and support them.
And not pass judgment
Of
or
course.
make assumptions about a person because they've come out to you as gay.
Or lesbian or trans or
Mhm.
yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, anything else you want to say on this subject? I want to thank you so much for being open and sharing a bit.
Of
Um,
course. Of course. The only thing I would ever say is, just be true to who you are. That's the only thing I would ever say to anyone. Be true to who you are, whatever that may mean to you. Be true to you. That's the only thing I would
love
ever say.
it. Love it. Well, as you know, Coach Jay and I are scheduling one-on-one sessions for anyone who would like to have a mentor or a coach or who needs guidance in this area, among other things. So please, please, please like and subscribe. If you want to send us a comment down below, we love comments. We respond to them all. Feel free to shoot us a DM if you would like to on Instagram. Our group handle is Self Love is the Key Wellness. And if you want to reach out to Coach Day directly, his handle is.
Get well with Mel.
And I'll also have the information posted in the description below. So thank
Bye,
you
you
all
guys.
for joining and for getting through another video with us as we touch on some very timely subjects, and look forward to seeing you guys again next time.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Be safe.
Be safe.